Julian Sanders with us today, our go-to guy when it comes to high-tech, all things high-tech from London Drugs. So first of all, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Now, usually when Julian is here, we got lots of props, as we say, and we got some gadgets to talk about, or some new innovations in the world of high-tech. But today we're talking about some computer security. And usually when Julian's here and we're talking about computer security, we're talking about software in terms of protecting your computers from viruses. But you said there's a telephone scam going around right now that is pretty sneaky and can have serious consequences for people. So tell us about the scam.
Basically, a caller phones you, and they claim they're from Microsoft usually, and they say you're infected. And then they get you to control your computer to the point that you basically allow them to access all the information and install software that is the spoof software, so it looks like fake antivirus software.
Right.
And usually they're trying to sell you something. It's been a problem across North America, mostly English-speaking countries, and it's been something that we've seen at the store, especially from seniors very recently.
Sure.
They seem to have really ramped up the frequency of the calls. And they typically install software, try to sell you something, and it's really not doing anything at all. Either they're just trying to get your credit card for buying the software, or they want to skim your computer for whatever passwords and things might be saved inside.
Now, I think you told me as well, or at least you sent me an email that said that you did have a customer come in very recently, I think this week, with this situation. And as you said, their photos, their like everything they've got stored on the inside is being held hostage. Yeah,
it's a newer form of spyware called ransomware, and it started actually by them getting the infection, and then they got the phone call. And it was actually password protected files. They were encrypted too, so it's not a simple password breaking procedure. It was literally impossible to get their stuff back. Without a backup, there is no other option. So it's another good reason to make sure you back up your stuff.
Well, I'm not going to say I learned the hard way, because ultimately I didn't lose a lot of stuff, but now I do have things backed up thanks to you. And but it's the bottom line is that it's like it just seems like, because people like me don't have the greatest in-depth knowledge when it comes to computers, and if you think you're doing the right thing, sometimes you're not. So what's basically a red flag like this is that people from Microsoft aren't going to phone you on the phone.
Right, and some of them will claim that they're from a legitimate security company like Norton or ESET. Those are two big names, and those people will never phone you unless you go onto their support site and ask them to phone you. So right away, try to get their information and contact the authorities. After phoning these Saskatoon police, they do have a database that they keep track of these things, and when there's too many of them, they put out bulletins. So it is something, it's a good idea to basically just get some info and hang up. And if you have allowed somebody to control your computer, if you've fallen victim to one of these, make sure you stop using your computer and bring it down to one of our technicians. We can close the back doors, clean it up, and it's typically a very fast and sometimes inexpensive bit of work.
Okay, good enough. A word to the wise that if somebody phones you from Microsoft or one of those companies, they are not calling from one of those companies. So, Julian, thanks for the heads up, and hopefully that saves some people in our viewing audience some real grief. So thanks again.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.